37-year-old male here, married to Judy, 32, for approximately 2.5 years. It's challenging to identify one specific event that encapsulates our journey thus far, but I suspect our relationship took a sour turn following an irritating phone call. At the time, I was engrossed in football highlights from the previous day in the living room when Judy's phone started ringing. The ringing phone interrupted the game commentary, and to avoid further disturbance, I carried it to her in the kitchen, asking her to attend to the call. Shortly after, the phone rang again, and it appeared she was preparing to engage with the caller. Given our corporate backgrounds, Judy adhered to a rule of keeping work separate from our home life. She considered it essential to uphold this boundary between our professional and personal spheres. Consequently, she maintained her privacy and urged me to do the same. Notably, she refused to answer work-related calls during weekends and preferred dealing with urgent matters via email. I approached the kitchen doorway, anticipating her outburst, but none came. Instead, she fell quiet and her countenance altered. It wasn't until dinner that she disclosed the purpose of the phone call. "We're being moved out of state," she said. "Relocation? Why? Where?" I asked. As soon as those words left me, I comprehended the predicament. Earlier, I had mentioned the company's expansion. It seemed the board was planning to relocate employees to manage branch development, she clarified. I knew the mechanics of transfers, but they rarely moved married couples without their agreement. Judy hadn't solicited the transfer. I urged her to reject it, but she revealed it came with a promotion, one she had been striving for throughout her career. The situation was crystallizing. Judy was a driven woman, and I respected that about her. For the past year, she had worked tirelessly to secure that promotion. She offered her time, put in additional effort, and ensured her team of 7 ran efficiently. The rewards were about to come, albeit unexpectedly. Her income would double, offering various advantages and incentives, yet money was never the primary motivation for her. She aspired to reach higher positions within the company. "What should I do?" she inquired. I could only respond with, "It's not your fault, but it creates a challenging predicament for me." I had 2 distinct choices: advise her to decline the transfer, thus foregoing the promotion, or encourage her to seize the chance she had labored so diligently for. In my thoughts, I contemplated whether long-distance marriages could be successful. Few examples existed, but surely some must, correct? I was optimistic, yet unwilling to impede her progress, and shared that sentiment. "I'll back your decision. No matter which path you choose, we can find a way to manage." Regrettably, those words now haunt me. In that instant, I felt elated, confident I had made the appropriate decision. I rationalized that couples manage their marriages despite long business trips, maintaining affection even when apart for months. Reflecting upon it now, she didn't leave much of a chance to decline. If I had voiced my true feelings and advised against her taking the job, she might have reconsidered, but at a price, possibly endangering our marriage. I didn't want that outcome. Moreover, the idea of her being distant was distasteful to me, but if our relationship hung in the balance, it seemed wiser to let her go. It appeared the only rational option. If presented with a similar situation once more, I am unsure if I would make a different choice. That evening, she thanked me for my understanding, but the annoyance lingered within me. I recognized then that my wife had maneuvered me into deciding in her favor. She had baited me, I was convinced. After finalizing travel plans, she appeared genuinely enthusiastic. We had an extended conversation on sustaining our marriage. As expected, we decided to maintain daily contact to stay updated with each other's lives. With infidelity never entering my thoughts, I trusted Judy was too committed to her aspirations for such a thought. Her job granted her 5 days off monthly. "It will work," she reassured me before boarding the plane. Unbeknownst to me, my marriage had reached its end at that point. Every long-distance relationship begins with frequent calls. I even purchased a Bluetooth earpiece for our constant communication during her work hours. The first 2 months seemed promising. We communicated more, and I gained more insights into her life than when we cohabited. It felt like I had made the correct decision in prioritizing her ambition over my own needs. I believed our relationship was thriving, at least until 2 months ago. One morning, Judy called to call off her trip home to Michigan. Her company's recent performance was poor, prompting her search for more competent individuals for administrative positions to lighten her workload. I was understanding, as a significant deal was on the verge of closure, offering me greater flexibility at work. This deal, worth millions, would also provide me with extra time for my wife. Postponing 5 days of surprise seemed inconsequential compared to the extended time we could spend together. To preserve the surprise, I chose not to reveal the deal and needed to maintain focus without distractions. We abstained from calling each other during this period, marking our longest phone-free stretch. Although we exchanged occasional texts on WhatsApp, our busy schedules prevented in-depth discussions. I'm recounting this tale following a friend's recent allegation that I am aloof and manipulative based on these events. From my perspective, I'm not either of those descriptions. On the contrary, the major transaction ultimately succeeded, and everything was on the verge of being concluded. This transaction was a pivotal moment and ensured my family's financial stability for the future. It was with my first ever closed client that I became part of the wealthiest 10% in America. That evening, while awaiting confirmation, I resisted the urge to contact her. I desired to share the past week's events and how our lives were going to be transformed. Instead, I arranged a surprise vacation for us, including tickets, accommodation, meals, and sightseeing. As I scrolled through WhatsApp, I stumbled upon her story with a photo of her embracing a man named Henry. He had dark hair, blue eyes, and appeared to be in his mid-30s. He was the first person she hired when she started her job, and he was well-versed in the business. Beneath the picture, she captioned it as, "Dark times reveal angels." I should have been suspicious that something was not right and postponed informing her about the deal. Discovering her affair with Henry, I opted to fly to California to see her. Upon arriving at her office in Michigan for an unexpected visit, a friend who worked as the receptionist kept my arrival concealed. Throughout the flight, I mulled over how Judy would respond to news of a business deal. Arriving at her branch from the airport, I hoped to invite her out for dinner to break the news. However, informed that she wasn't at work, I hailed an Uber to the provided address, questioning why the branch receptionist seemed taken aback by Judy being married. Respecting her privacy, I didn't inquire further. Climbing 4 floors, I reached her apartment door with flowers in hand. As I was about to knock, a moan echoed from inside along with, "Keep going." My heart fell. It took merely 5.5 months for her to be unfaithful. My rage swelled, teetering on the edge of obliterating my reason, but I managed to contain myself. I departed from her apartment and navigated back to her workplace to request the receptionist to omit my visit from records, offering a dollar tip. I, too, stayed at a hotel close by, keeping watch over her. The subsequent week found me following her in a hired vehicle, unbeknownst to her. Her routine work, yoga, and apartment was predictable, allowing for effortless surveillance of her activities. This is how I ascertained she spent considerable time with Henry, and it wasn't challenging to discern he was the one she was involved with romantically. Throughout this period, I attempted contacting her through calls and messages, but she utilized work demands as an alibi and implored for personal space to sort out professional matters. It was then that I decided not to let her control me any longer. I drafted divorce papers and waited for her return home with Henry. Appeared as if they spent a significant amount of time in bed, since upon my arrival at her door, all I could hear were moans and grunts. Quietly unlocking the door and entering her bedroom, I began recording with my phone. The scene was uncomfortable to witness, but I captured a full minute of their private moment before revealing myself. In that instant, as she hurriedly gathered clothes, I felt a sense of control, despite the sadness and discomfort that accompanied it. Her distress upon learning I would share the video with her colleagues, family, and loved ones if she did not sign divorce papers seemed warranted to me. She pleaded for forgiveness, promising resignation and therapy, but her actions left me feeling repulsed. Is it surprising? Every time I saw her, the image of her with Henry replayed in my mind, causing a nauseating sensation. Her demands for leniency were unrealistic, and I chose not to consider them. She claimed to have resigned when she handed over signed divorce papers, but even then, I sent the video to her parents as a reminder of the daughter they raised. It appeared as if she had ended the relationship prior to taking the job, leading me to believe she'd desired it for some time and possibly been unfaithful. She seemingly manipulated you into accepting the job, effectively leaving you with no other option. Such significant life decisions can significantly impact a family. Since our divorce 5 months ago, I felt compelled to provide an update. Previously, my wife relocated to another state to manage her company's new branch and embarked on an affair with a colleague, an indiscretion uncovered during an unsuspecting visit. After the dissolution of our marriage, I took some time to recover and even enjoyed a week-long getaway in the Dominican Republic, an amazing destination. One night, I was alerted via Reddit about my original post. When I penned it, I was mainly expressing my rage, dismay, and repugnance. Remarkably, it garnered widespread attention. Upon skimming through comments, a particular one caught my attention, written by someone who experienced a similar predicament not long ago. He expressed feelings of unhappiness due to his inability to exact enough retribution to appease himself. This might appear unusual and unconventional, as many appeared content with me merely revealing her infidelity to her parents and her subsequent termination, without pursuing further action. Admittedly, it was somewhat gratifying to observe the disintegration of her relationship with her parents due to the video, but beyond that, I felt I hadn't achieved much. The latest news I received suggested she was staying in a motel and working at a nightclub, which strangely seemed fitting for someone who had been unfaithful. Approximately 3 weeks after my return from the Dominican Republic, she appeared at my doorstep, pleading for my forgiveness and to rekindle our relationship. This was amusing, watching her with swollen, bloodshot eyes from crying or dealing with other issues. Regardless of the circumstances, it didn't stir much concern in me. She was in pieces emotionally. My attention turned towards Henry, the man she infideled with. I granted her access, and it seemed as though she assumed my hesitation regarding the divorce was returning. She instantly began justifying her actions, asserting that she never genuinely believed I would follow through. She even mentioned losing her parents' regard, and I felt she had been adequately punished. I aimed to verify her sincerity by posing a query. I knew she would falter, yet I desired confirmation. True to form, she did not disappoint. Upon asking how often it transpired, she responded once, swearing it was the truth. It was difficult to trust anything she said after that. My father used to claim it's almost impossible to lie directly to someone, but she disproved him. I wasn't certain about the exact number of times they had been together, but I had a general timeline of when it began, and it definitely was not limited to one instance. Initially doubtful, but upon overhearing her moans in her room on my arrival in Michigan and discovering she was lying, I decided to confront her. Her preference for privacy was irrelevant. Learning that Henry was a married man angered me further, offering an opportunity for retaliation. My acting abilities, though imperfect, succeeded in deceiving her into believing I might reconcile. I manipulated the situation by telling her I needed time to think before requesting it, then swiftly disseminating the incriminating video of her to all who knew her, including her office friend. My initial action was purchasing a ticket to Michigan, where I gathered evidence against Henry using information provided by Judy and rented an apartment near his home. I monitored him while waiting for the right moment to reveal his infidelities with my former spouse through released videos. In addition, I observed his wife, Amy, who was beautiful with blonde hair, gray eyes, and a compelling smile. Originally, I intended to charm her and boast to her spouse, but my emotions took an unforeseen turn. Amy was a compassionate and authentic individual, and we forged a strong bond. For a period, I saw less of Henry. I discovered that Henry had lost his job and was frantically searching for employment to prevent suspicion from Amy during our discussions. Amy also confided in me about her marital woes, as her husband seldom paid attention to her until recently. Unaware, this knowledge provided me with the necessary evidence. I disclosed the truth to Amy and presented her with a video that haunted my sleep. She was quickly persuaded and we plotted how she would confront Henry. Though I wasn't there to witness it, I ensured he knew I was the source of his troubles. As of last report, he was being expelled. Now I can say I feel fulfilled. Letters were dispatched to numerous individuals, such as relatives, acquaintances, household managers, specialists, manufacturing employees, physicians, legal advisors, instructors, religious figures, and even Facebook contacts. The unifying factor among them was their relationship with Amy Taylor and/or Josh Long. The following message you're going to read is from Ben Taylor, who is Amy's husband as well as your daughter, sibling, friend, and colleague. I understand that most of you may not know me, and I am grateful for your attention. I have some details regarding my cherished wife and her associate, details which some of you might already be privy to or suspect. I've elected to eradicate all doubt and disclose what I know. I acknowledge that many of you may find this information unpalatable. Some might even detest it, or even me. Nevertheless, I am prepared to confront the repercussions. Kindly review the first attachment. Inside is a photo depicting Amy and Josh passionately kissing on the screen. The picture is labeled as foreplay. It was taken 3 months ago at a company gathering. They thought they were being inconspicuous, but my friend, who was searching for his kids, observed it. He snapped some photos and passed them to me, thinking I might find them useful. That's what a good friend does. After that incident, I turned into an insecure husband. I felt compelled to uncover the truth, even if it caused me pain. And it did. Our vows to each other and to our faith were shattered due to lust. I hope it wasn't love. I continuously question why this happened. Could it be because I was away for long periods due to secret CIA operations? However, I never served in the military, and the only SEALs I know are those sunbathing in the harbor. Could it be because I was busy with work? But that's not true. I don't go on business trips and seldom work overtime. Every night, I arrive home before 5:30. The reason isn't that I abandoned my interests, left my partner and children without involvement, and indulged myself, while missing significant occasions like birthdays, vacations, and anniversaries. That's not the truth. My only pastime is bringing joy to her. She seemed pleased with small, unexpected gifts and weekend escapes, but I needed to be monitored to prevent excessive spending on those occasions. Fortunately, we didn't have children. I wasn't emotionally or physically harsh towards her, didn't neglect her needs, and always expressed my love for her. It was beneficial that she worked, as it allowed her time away from Josh. Their clandestine meetings during the day were facilitated by his position as her employer. I was taken aback when I uncovered solid proof. It turned out to be expensive, possibly even illegal, but I had no intention of presenting it in court. I opted to present the situation before the court of public opinion. The enclosed evidence allegedly confirms their affair. As a precaution, I advise you not to open the following attachments if they could potentially upset you. 2 additional images emerged. The first depicted Amy gazing affectionately at Josh from above. The caption read, "She's particularly skillful at this." The second set of photos displayed them in bed, their faces expressing desire and contentment. Beneath was the caption, "What she didn't abstain from doing for me." I apologize if this is distressing to you, but I felt it necessary to dispel any uncertainty. Why am I sharing these images with you? Because I have initiated divorce proceedings. Several of her friends have inquired about my resolve, whether it's a mistake, if counseling should be sought, if she regrets it, if this won't recur, or if we should simply forget it. Her mother, whom I cherished like my own, will not try to dissuade me from my decision. Her father, whom I admired but never deeply loved, will endeavor to reason with me. I regret drawing you all into this predicament. My fervent wish is for me to be left in solitude. Mainly, this issue pertains to my wife and me. However, there's an exception, Josh. An apology is due to his spouse, Sonny, as well. None of this was meant to affect you or your young children, who are now 8 and 5 years old. Maybe he'll alter his ways and you can find forgiveness in your hearts. That decision lies with you. I also extend an apology to Josh's company and its upper management for dragging them into the impending lawsuit. All meetings that transpired were conducted within their office, making it likely that the furniture arrangements are now a subject of curiosity. If considering giving away the couch in question, ensure it undergoes proper cleaning first. My lawyer can potentially utilize these images. However, statements from coworkers could be obtained instead. It's unlikely they'll accept responsibility for the company. Many will undoubtedly face challenging times ahead. In summary, I felt compelled to address this matter in this manner due to eradicate all doubts and save further time, for a picture truly speaks volumes. It appears that Amy is soon to receive divorce papers, and the moment is imminent. I will endeavor to forge a new existence devoid of her. Amy, I apologize if I failed to meet your expectations. If from the outset you had disclosed your feelings for someone else and departed, it would have been painful. Yet, I would have acknowledged your choice. Instead, you opted for having your cake and eating it. However, the cake has vanished, Amy. I suspect you may regret this, or perhaps not. Perhaps you're relieved that I discovered your affair so you and your lover can live as you please. Our relationship is terminated. I have vacated, taken what was necessary, and the rest remains yours. All correspondence will be handled by my attorney, and I have decided never to converse with you again. I seek no explanations. I desire no insights into why. I refuse to entertain the notion of second chances. Proceed, Amy, leave me in peace. The entire workplace was jolted when Amy cried out, collapsed at her desk upon viewing an image of Josh with a knife embedded in it. Colleagues swiftly responded, and soon the startling revelation spread. An administrator had found an email containing this surprising detail. Work nearly ground to a halt. Ignorant of the turmoil, Josh was surprised to find the HR director standing at the door. "Is it true?" the director asked bluntly. "What is true?" Josh inquired, bewildered. The director entered the room and shut the door forcefully. "Is it true that you and Amy have been having an affair within this office?" Josh paled, and the director could see he might lose consciousness. It was a resounding confirmation. "You've been foolish. Do you comprehend the harm you and Amy have inflicted? Many of our key clients are religious charities. What is your estimation of the response if it became known that two of our top-tier employees behaved improperly on company grounds during business hours?" The director had just concluded a meeting with higher-ups. The CEO required confirmation. He's already received calls from the Archbishop, a Baptist charity president, and Rabbi Friedman. The situation seems dire. He looked at Josh and ordered him to leave in 30 minutes. "You are on suspension until further notice for an investigation." He momentarily hesitated and extended the time to a half hour. At this moment, Amy is being escorted out of her office, which you haven't witnessed yet. In your email, you will find a message from her husband that she sent. The director made this comment before leaving. Josh's hands shook as he opened the email, realizing their secret affair had turned into an upheaval in their lives. He'd hoped their secret would stay enjoyable and concealed from all, but their feelings deepened, necessitating pledges to keep their infidelity a secret from their spouses. He recognized Sunny, Josh's wife, must be in dire straits. "Oh my God, Sunny," he exclaimed urgently, dialing her number. To his astonishment, she answered, appearing tranquil. Perhaps she hadn't read the email yet. Her voice, devoid of emotion, filled the silence. "Is it true?" she inquired. "Is what true, dear?" Josh responded, cognizant that he had no other options. "Sonny, you have one opportunity to tell me the truth, just one. If you lie and I uncover the deception, our discussions will be handled by lawyers. So, is it true?" The walls were closing in on him, and he cherished her, but he was powerless. "I'm extremely sorry, my love." "Yes, it's true," he admitted. However, she interrupted him abruptly, her voice harsh and uncompromising. "I'm gathering 2 suitcases with your favorite items. I only get one chance to tell you the truth, Josh. If you lie and I find out, we'll be dealing with lawyers. You'll find the items in the garage. Pick them up since I need to fetch the kids from school. As the adult, someone has to remain responsible, particularly when children are involved. I'll inform them you had an urgent business trip. In case things don't work out and we have to part ways, you'd be the one explaining our living situation to our kids. They may not comprehend now, but they will in a few years. I hope it won't alienate them from you. I'm leaving, and I ask that you don't try to contact me. If I reach out, I'll be the one to do so." A prolonged silence followed, then an angry shout. "Damn you!" she yelled before hanging up, leaving him frozen with his phone in hand. The phone rang shortly after, showing Amy as the caller. He answered cautiously. For a moment, all he heard were sobs and sniffles. Then she murmured, her voice almost inaudible, Josh, what are we going to do? He's my world. We had plans to start a family next year. I can't stand losing him. I can't." For the 20th time that day, he was struck by deep sadness. "What have we done?" he questioned. "I feel the same about Sonny, but honestly, Amy, I don't see a positive outcome for either of us. If we truly loved each other, maybe we would find solace in our freedom and reunite. But we merely liked each other, and we never intended to be together. You know our careers are at stake, if not now, then soon. Sonny has expelled me, and I'm unsure if we'll ever be together again. I sincerely apologize for Ben. Do you think that if I speak with him, explaining there was no love, it might help?" She responded firmly, "No. It's advisable for you to maintain distance from us at present. Each encounter between us may remind him of our past actions. Although he hasn't been violent, this is a wound he has never experienced before. I'll contact you later, only if I consider it suitable." Pausing briefly, she added, "No, I don't recommend it. If they find out we're communicating, it could jeopardize everything we're trying to rebuild." "I'm sorry it has come to this, Amy," he said. "You know I never intended to cause you pain." She replied sadly, "I understand your sentiments. I hope things go well with Sonny. I can hardly believe we were ever so reckless. Goodbye, Josh, and good luck." With that, she ended the call, leaving Josh contemplating alone. As pledged, Ben never contacted Amy again. He remained obstinate, rejecting all attempts at dialogue and court-ordered therapy sessions. Rather than electing to avoid a contempt accusation, he chose to receive it at his workplace, where the jail served him with the charge. Perplexed police officers took his statement, and since no arrest warrant was issued, the judge exhibited doubt but imprisoned him over the subsequent weekends, freeing him on Sunday evenings so he could return to work. Eventually, Amy discontinued the counseling sessions, acknowledging defeat. The divorce proceedings persisted for close to a year. Amy continued to entertain a sliver of hope that Ben would reappear. However, upon seeing an announcement of his forthcoming wedding, she relinquished her optimism. On the day of Ben's wedding, overwhelmed by emotions, Amy, after 2 years of abstinence, got drunk for the first time. Although time may not fully heal all wounds, it made the pain more manageable. Eventually, Amy started dating again. She experienced 2 significant relationships that ended without her disclosing her past. However, she ultimately encountered a man who loved her enough to set aside the past and concentrate on the future. They got married and were content. Amy maintained distance with male colleagues, especially at work functions, earning them nicknames like Nun due to her sparse social engagements and professional-focused conversations. 2 years post their wedding, she unexpectedly crossed paths with Ben again. He had returned after settling secretly with her previous company to dodge a legal battle and was now attending his sister's 25th wedding anniversary party. Amy stumbled upon him by chance at a park bench. Initially unsure if it was indeed him, she noticed he looked slimmer and sported some gray hair. She contemplated approaching him to offer an apology for her past actions, but hesitated when a woman with fiery red hair appeared, holding a 2-year-old boy and a girl of around 6 or 7 years. The little girl resembled the woman with her red curls, while the boy had dark ones. The girl hopped onto Ben's lap, and the woman cradled the younger one. Ben arose with the girl, kissed his partner, and departed. Amy perceived a glimpse of what was meant to be hers and wiped away her tears. She went home to prepare her husband's preferred meal. Josh and Sonny succeeded in reconciling following 15 months apart. She persistently advocated for counseling, individually and as a couple, and they also structured a comprehensive prenuptial agreement. Josh apologized profusely until Sonny reached her limit, and cautioned him that another apology would prompt her exit. Josh underwent a transformation, seldom leaving Sunny alone, and he became a dedicated family man. His new occupation offered lower wages than his prior one, but he earned raises and bonuses for his dedication. It took him 6 years to regain financial stability, with Sunny continuing to work to balance their budget. Despite their reconciliation, she refused to surrender her job. Occasionally, she socialized with coworkers over drinks or participated in quarterly work conferences, which occasionally irked Josh, yet secretly pleased her. Their life had evolved from the past, yet they were determined to construct a brighter future for themselves and their children. One day, Josh calculated that they had been engaging in bed life around 12 times, with each instance lasting roughly between 30 to 45 minutes. Considering the longest stretch, this equated to approximately 9 hours, a stark contrast to the years of pain and Amy's previous marital hardship. Was it worth it? Emphatically not.